In this video, we are going to learn how to perform simple modulations for blues progressions. Modulating, or changing key, is an important skill because it can help us to create more variation in our playing and give us the ability to play with other musicians, no matter what instrument they are playing. Being able to play the blues in different keys is considered an essential skill. Here are the three main bar chords we have been using to play our blues progression: A, D, and E. In this illustration, I've marked out the root notes for each of these chords. The root note of a chord is the individual note that defines the name of each chord and the starting point from which each chord is built. In this example, this root note would be an A note. Using this illustration, we can see how each chord in the blues progression appears on the fretboard. If we pay careful attention, we can see that the root notes for each of these chords forms a simple shape on our fretboard. This pattern of root notes is the starting point for all the chords in our blues progression, and an important tool for performing simple modulations. To perform a simple modulation, all we need to do is slide this pattern of root notes up or down the fretboard. Once we've decided on a new fret location, we use these root notes to build our bar chords. Let's look at this in more detail. Here we can see our basic blues progression in the key of A, and the same sliding root note pattern that we are already familiar with. In this demonstration, you can see the correlation between the chord being played on the guitar and what chord we are up to on the sheet music. Each chord in our blues progression can be represented as a number. This helps to give us a sense of continuity when we are performing simple modulations. But how did we get these numbers? The three chords in our blues progression are A, D, and E. These letter names came from a scale. If we count out the letter names in a simplified version of this scale, we can see that the A is chord 1, D is chord 4, and E is chord 5. You will notice that each of these numbers are written as Roman numerals. Now let's return to our blues progression. We can now apply this to our blues progression. All of our A chords are written as 1 chords. Our D chords are now written as 4 chords. And our E chords are all written as 5 chords. We can look at our pattern of root notes on the fretboard in the same way. Here you can see that each root note has been given its appropriate Roman numeral. Now that we have the basics under control, let's try a few modulations. If we slide our pattern of root notes down 2 frets, our blues progression will now be made up of G, C, and D chords. Using our Roman numerals, we can see which chords will be used in our blues, and in exactly which bars. According to our root note pattern, chord 1 is a G. Therefore, every bar marked with the Roman numeral 1 will be a G chord. Chord 4 is a C. Therefore, every bar marked with the Roman numeral 4 will be a C chord. Chord 5 is a D. Therefore, every bar marked with the Roman numeral 5 will be a D chord. Because our 1 chord is a G chord, we know that we are in the key of G. And now, with all of the chords in place, we can see how our blues progression would look once we have modulated to the key of G. Let's try another key. If we slide our pattern of root notes up to the 7th fret, our blues progression will now be made up of B, E, and F sharp chords. Using our Roman numerals, we can see which chords will be used in our blues, and in exactly which bars. According to our root note pattern, chord 1 is a B. Therefore, every bar marked with the Roman numeral 1 will be a B chord. Chord 4 is an E. Therefore, every bar marked with the Roman numeral 4 will be an E chord. Chord 5 is an F sharp. Therefore, every bar marked with the Roman numeral 5 will be an F sharp chord. Because our 1 chord is a B chord, we know that we are in the key of B. And now, with all of the chords in place, we can see how our blues progression would look once we have modulated to the key of B. The beauty of using this system is we can perform simple modulations by simply moving these chord shapes up and down the fretboard. As long as we remember the pattern in which these chords are played, we can perform quick and simple modulations with minimal consideration to the underlying theory.